Can you tell us a little about the life of a typical VC and maybe something related to what you do at Venture Highway, your day-to-day life?
Sure, sure. So in a typical VC role, the thing is that your role is never specified. You're thrown into a system, an unsupervised, unstructured system, and you have to find your way there. You have to find your niche. What do you do? And it might be overwhelming at the beginning because there's so many different options. You can, get involved in sourcing. You can get involved in calls with founders. You can get involved in portfolio work. You can get involved in the legal stuffs in the firm. You can get involved with talking to LPs and partners, managing the internals, so many different things. And unlike consulting, in consulting, you're given a fixed target to do in a specific amount of time, let's say 3 to 4 hours. Over here, you're given 8, 9 tasks to be done in a larger period of time, perhaps 4 to 5 days. So one aspect that is very different from consulting is that you have to plan your day. In consulting, your day is already planned for you on behalf of someone. Over here, you have to plan your day. You have to be very organized with your calendar. You have to manage your time very well. If you don't end up doing that, it would become very, very overwhelming for you, and you'd have to learn it the hard way. So being open to managing different tasks at the same time, streamlining when to do what task, that's very important in a VC role. Coming to, the work hours, they're not as much as consulting. They're not 14, 15 hours, but they are 11 to 13 hours a day. The good thing is that you get to, given that you're planning your day, you get to decide when you want to work. If you're like, I don't want to work in the evening, I'll work late at night, you have that option. Of course, founders calls are usually scheduled in the day, and you cannot skip those. But I think after a certain point, after 5 p.m., that's where you can be flexible about when you want to do work and when you don't want to do work. The key metric there is you have to complete the work. So if you can do the work in 6 hours, totally fine. If you can't do the work in 30 hours, that's a negative sign. Now, talking about how my life at VC is particularly structured, I think I spend 50 to 70% of my time sourcing startups and talking to founders. That's where my day typically goes. And by sourcing startups, it means actively source startups on LinkedIn, get inbound requests, talk to my network to source startups, and then having conversations with them, each of the startups that I source across various different industries. So I think 7 to 8 hours a day go in that itself, my entire day. After that, there's a lot of thesis development, for example. And that's where I think learning for me happens, because for example, at my VC fund, I made the thesis for Web3. So really get a good grasp of that particular industry while you make a thesis. That is where you own your own verticals. For me, my verticals are Web3, data observability, DevOps, SaaS, gaming. Those are the kind of verticals which I follow. And you have the option to choose your own verticals. And I think I would say 20% of my time goes into making thesis. Another 20% of my time goes into portfolio work. So helping different portfolio companies in any kind of tasks that they need, hiring, or an opinion on, any particular opinion on any aspect of a problem that they're facing. How they should think about next steps, what should be the future strategy for them, strategizing that out. Yeah. I think the remaining, 10%, 5-10% would be in making collaterals, writing emails, writing content, reading up stuff, and, making term sheets, of course. Yeah. So that's how typically my day is structured in VC.